Good morning, welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. We are working on the project truck again. This is the auction 2004 Ford F-150. I bought it at auction last year. We've put an engine in it. We've done front shocks, springs, all that. We've done the front wheel hubs. We've done the 4x4 actuators. I have new rear shocks here for it and new leaf springs on the way. Stay tuned for that video. Today we are servicing the transmission. Pretty sure it ain't been serviced in a minute, and we're gonna take care of that today. So we're gonna jack this in the air. I have an issue with most OEM transmission pans and the fact that they don't put a transmission drain plug on the pan. So we are going to be replacing the pan today with a Dorman one because it has a drain plug on it, which means in the future this will be way less messy to do this job. I also went ahead and bought a new gasket. Yes, these are reusable, you just have to clean them, but this has been there for 20 some years. I'm going to go ahead and replace the gasket. I also have an OEM Motorcraft filter that has been ripped open and retaped, hoping that's okay. We're going to find out, and I will link all this down below on Amazon. We got plenty of fluid to put back in. Life is going to be all right. You do not need a two-post lift to do this job, but it makes things so much more enjoyable, so I'm going to be using it. You can do this on your back, on the ground. Not pleasant, but you can do it. So, because I'm using the two-post lift, I also have an oil catch can. I'm using a container and a mess preventer in hopes of capturing how much came out. I know the level looks good on the dipstick, but until the new leaf springs show up for this truck, I can't drive this to figure out how much fluid needs to go back in. So I'm going to get a basic idea of how much put back in by looking at how much came out. That is not a hard, solid rule like some will tell you. Always check your dipstick. Always check your leaf level when you're in here. Just because you pull out, let's say, 7 quarts does not mean that you weren't low or over full. Always check it. But as a roundabout guess, just so you know about how much to put back in, I'm going to capture it. Typically, it's just helpful to do that. That is what we're doing. I'm going to go ahead and pick this up in the air, and I'll show you what you want to do. This job is much more enjoyable when the truck is cold, because the fluid's cool, which means the pan's cool, which means the exhaust is cool, which means you're not burning yourself up. So this has been sitting overnight because, like I said, broken leaf springs anyway, so it's been sitting. This is going to be nice and room temp, which is about 60 degrees right now, which is perfect. Let me raise this up and I'll show you what we're doing. Okay, so here's your transmission pan. Looks a lot like, your new one, only new one has a drain plug. So you have your oil pan, which mine, so check this out, little gripe. So I just put this engine in 1,000 miles ago, not even 1,000, we're at like 800. And whatever plasti dip coating they put on this engine pan is just falling off. That's horrid, horrid. Especially because it's not easy to replace this pan if you need to, because the differential's like in the way. So yeah, not happy about that. That's Fraser Advantage build for you on their engines, but we're talking about transmission today, so let's do that. So your transmission pan is going to have several 10mm bolts. I like to go ahead and break them loose by hand. I know a lot of mechanics out there just slap the impact and everything, but I like to actually feel it. So I'm going to go around, I'm going to hit all that I can reach with my 10mm. This is a 1/4 inch drive, doesn't really matter. Ugh. It's kind of gross and muddy, but at least on Ford you can still get your ratchet up here. Sometimes some of these manufacturers bury them and you end up fighting with universal sockets and everything else, and it's just not pleasant, but this one's not bad. Alright, once they're all broken loose, so I know they're not stripped from, some previous guy or something, I get the impact on up in there and I rip them out. I'm going to leave the 4 corner ones in. Alright, at this point you want to get your pan ready to catch some fluids. Okay, so theoretically we're going to try and catch everything We're already starting to drip from this corner, so we'll go ahead and let that corner come off first. We'll go ahead and take this bolt out. There's that. And then we'll start taking this bolt out. Oh, maybe. Oh no, and I missed it. Just a hair, but I missed it. We're gonna let that drain itself out till it's done, and then we will start taking the back tube off to get the rest of it out. It's all collecting here in my tray, so I can measure it later, which is perfect. Don't know where to put you guys where you can see. I need to dry my hands, they're all oily now. All right, now that it's subsiding, we'll go ahead and take this bolt the rest of the way off. And then, I'd like this corner to do most of the draining. We'll come over here. We'll take this corner off. This is where having a drain plug is nice. You don't have to worry about none of this crap. You have a drain plug, you just put your pan under it and let her rip. Okay. Now we're gonna try to be careful here. Pan feels awfully heavy. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this one out without knocking this over and losing all the fluid on our shoes like I normally do. So the more you let out control, the better. Oh. So far, they're not doing too bad though. Of course, the last bolt's going to be the one sticky bolt. There we go. So now all the bolts are out. We can let this down in a controlled manner. Pull it out the rest of the way. I'll get rid of this. Now I'm going to lower my drain pan down to get it out of my way. Oh. Alright, and what we're left with is our pan with our filter. This is a very easy thing to do. We're just going to pull this filter out and put the new one up with this gasket, unless somebody freaking glued it on, which maybe they did. It's really simply just pull the gasket off and put the new one in. Here's your dipstick. So I'm gonna actually try and get this gasket off first with a screwdriver. So we're gonna come in here and just try to peel that off, which went pretty easy. Like I said, this is reusable. There's a cleaning procedure. I just happened to go ahead and buy a new one because that's what I do. I actually don't see any screws holding it on, so we're gonna go ahead and just try to pull it off. A little twisty. There it goes. Looks like there's a little O-ring up in here we're gonna have to pull out. That did not come with the filter. That's easy. As in, didn't come with the old filter, didn't fall out with it. But before we get too crazy there, we're gonna grab some blue towel and just dry up and wipe the edges here. Just to make sure there's no dirt for our new gasket to get stuck on. Dirt is bad. Dirt is really bad in transmissions. No dirt. We want no dirt in transmission. Half the time I do these, I find somebody didn't know what they were doing and got in here before and they glue that gasket on whichever vehicle I happen to be working on. And I gotta scratch all that off. This one, nobody's done that. So either this is an unblemished, untouched transmission, or the guy that got in there last actually didn't glue it down, which I'm good with. In fact, I'm very happy about that. So this is going to go up like that. That's what this rubber is. That's what got stuck up in here from the last one. As you can see, it didn't come out on this one. The old one did not come out with it. So I am going to grab a pick or something and try and pull this out. You do not want to damage the surface it's on. Be careful with that. This is a very similar setup to the Jeeps, and I think I was able to use this on the Jeep last time, but whatever you, oh yeah, look at that. Whatever you got to grab that, just grab it, pull it out. All right, that's really it. This is super simple, guys. Now we're just gonna shove this guy up in here. Like I said, it's not held on by any means. So, but we do want it to go up in there all the way, just like so. Okay, so that's set in place. Now we can grab our pan and our gasket. I'm not doing anything to the pan or the gasket. It's going up there dry. Thank you for reminding me. Before we actually put that new pan up, we're gonna grab the magnet out of the old pan Oh yeah, which is covered in debris, and that's okay. That's what it's there for. That's why it's there. So I'm just going to clean it up with a paper towel so we can start with a fresh magnet in the pan. All right, now this is going to go, there's a divot right here. You just want to put it right on the divot just like that. Now let me go change out my gloves so I can touch you guys, and we'll put this back in. Okay, when I go to put this pan up, I find it super handy to have about 4 of these screws, bolts on hand, ready to go. I like to stick one through the gasket before I even get it up there. I'm trying to do this so you can see it's being a pain. And then we go up in there. And I'm not tightening this, I'm literally just getting like 3 threads in. I'm going to take another one of the bolts wherever it's easy to get to. Again, go through the pan and then get through the gasket. Find the hole. Again, just a couple threads. That's all I'm trying to do. You don't want to go too much because you need the gasket to move when you go to the other side. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to grab another bolt, slide it through. At this point, your gasket should be pretty lined up, but we're going to... Alright, now that we got a few of them started, I'm going to go ahead and remove my drain tray, get it out of my way. I'm gonna start all the other bolts. My drain pan's out of my way. Again, I'm still doing all of these, just a few turns. Just to get everything set in place. Bonk your head on everything metal in here. If it hurts, it's a good idea to bang your head on it. That's what I found. Seems to be what my brain thinks I should do. Alright, so now I want to grab my impact, and I'm going to go to this middle one here. Just going to get it to where it touches the bottom. I'm going to go across the other middle. And I want to come back, and I don't know if this is right or wrong, it's just what I do. Get that to snug. Snug. And then we're going to come back and torque them all in a minute. Okay, and at this point, just kind of working our way around here. Probably should have done the centers first on that side, but oh well, we'll do them on this side. I've only one time that I can remember ever had a leak pan after I finished. Alright, so they're all snuggered up. Alright, I am going to torque these down to 120 inch-pounds, which would be 10 foot-pounds. And we're going to start right there in the middle. I'm going to go to this one. Then we're going to do this middle. Pop over here to here. Don't know if this is right or wrong, just what I'm doing, guys. We'll bounce over to this guy. This guy. This guy. This guy. Okay. Now I'm going to do these two centers over here. Right here. Right here. And then if you got them all, you can just go around in one big... So then if you got them all, you can just go in a row and hit all of them one more time, just to make sure you hit that 10 inch or 120 inch-pounds on every single one. And that's the third time that one got hit anyway. We are now done downstairs. We can move up. Okay, so now that we got the truck back on the ground, we have our oil, our fluid situated. We can see that we are almost at 24 cups, which would be 6 quarts. I want to call it 23 cups, which would be 5 3/4 quarts. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quarts of oil there, plus 1. Remember, you need to check your fluid after you've driven around for a little bit, get the transmission warmed up before you can check it. You can't just pull the engine, you can't just pull the dipstick and look at it like the engine. Whole different procedure. Look it up in your manual. For now, we're gonna go ahead and start with this. We're gonna come into the engine bay, and over here on the passenger side, you have a dipstick down here. I'm gonna pull that out, put it somewhere semi-clean. Yeah, it's probably gonna drip on the floor, but oh well. And then you're gonna grab your favorite funnel, and we're gonna stick that guy in the hole. And then we're just gonna start dumping in fluid just like your engine oil. I like to shake these up, try and get any additive package that may have fallen loose back in. Okay, get our funnel out of there. Take our dipstick, we're gonna send that back down the hole. And that's really all there is to it. Changing the transmission fluid, upgrading your pan to have a drain plug on a 2004 Ford F-150. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, guys, nothing complicated. At this point though, once you get your fluid back in, I would recommend you drive around town for a good 20 minutes or so, come back and check your fluid while the truck is running or whatever it says in the owner's manual, and see where it's at the dipstick and adjust accordingly. Transmission fluid level is fairly important in my mind, and you want to make sure that it's good. So guys, I will link all the parts I use down below in the video description in the top pinned comment. Make sure you check those out. Make sure you check out my other videos if you are interested in the F-150. 1, it's for sale. Everything I own is for sale. 2, I got a whole playlist on it, and it is developing. It's getting bigger. We are not done with the WJs. For anybody scared that we're done with the WJs, I still own one. We're still going to be working on it, and it's going to keep on trucking. So jeeping, it's going to keep on jeeping. Guys, leave a comment, click the links, buy stuff after you click the links. I make a little money if you click an Amazon link and then buy something. Doesn't even have to be what I link, just click the link, buy stuff, I get money. Leave a comment, let me know you're watching. I appreciate it, guys. Stay tuned, stick around, we'll see you later.